It's a new day, which means more Diablo 4 news and updates for you all, with new responses from the dev team about one of the most highly requested features from the community right now, loadouts. We're going to talk about it. Plus, will the Battle Pass and Cosmetic Shop take away from the loot dropped in-game? We have an interesting response about this one as well. Also, the beta proved that there's some major balancing issues between classes. We'll dissect why this could be based on what appears to be Diablo 4's volatile development. So yeah, let's dive straight into this. First of all, I've got to show you guys this right here. It's pretty amazing. It says, "Welcome to Tristram. It's been through hell, but housing is affordable." And you could see, of course, how much Diablo has progressed through the years from Diablo 1 up until Diablo 4. So that, I thought that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, let's get into the questions to the dev team. The first one to Rod Ferguson himself. It says this: "Are we going to have the armory to save our loadouts? That would be valuable to flip between builds and gears. The respec feature is normal to have, but should be a way to experiment with new builds. I wouldn't want to create 4 wizards, so each can use 1 build." Great point. As we know right now, we really want this feature. It was in, of course, Diablo 3. As you can see right here, you have the option of like a Firebird loadout that you can load up, very quickly, and you had 5 different options that you can flip between based on the scenario. Now, the official response from Rod Ferguson is this right here: not at launch. It is not an outright no. That is great news. So to me, that tells me that loadouts would be coming to Diablo 4 eventually post-launch. I'm just hoping they don't take too long about that. Now, also, there are some worries from the community as voiced here by the Angry Tacos. He says, "I'm super worried that the addition of paid cosmetics will limit how cool the in-game loot will look to entice people to buy extras. Is there anything you could say to alleviate such a concern? Can you show an example of some in-game items that can be simply looted?" And the response was right here from community manager of Diablo 4, Adam Fletcher himself, who says, "We have a blog post on this. Images are towards the end with some examples, and of course, the examples that people saw during the open beta." And if we get into the actual blog post, and I'll get into the image examples here as well, I go on to say this right here. It says, "The best looking cosmetics aren't exclusive to the shop. Diablo 4 will ship with hundreds of transmogs unlockable from drops in-game, including dozens of armor sets of the highest visual quality. There are incredible pieces, unique and legendary quality items for players to find without ever going to the shop. The shop offers more diversity of choices, not systemically better choices." I'm still a little apprehensive of this, though, despite this explanation. They did provide us with some examples. They didn't say exactly which one is from the loot pool in-game, which would be from the shops, but I'm still a little bit apprehensive here about this actually affecting the loot pool that would be offered in-game, of course. But there are some really cool looking armor pieces. It just doesn't say, hey, this is going to be in the shop/battle pass. This is what you're going to find in-game. I am so curious to see what happens when the community finally gets into this and dissects it as we go. Now, also, there was a follow-up here within the blog. It goes on to say this: "Armor transmogs in the shop are usable on all characters of that class. Many of the cosmetics in the shop are class-specific fantasies, which wouldn't necessarily make sense visually on other classes. Once you unlock a cosmetic from the shop for a given class, you can use it on every character of that class on your account. There are special cosmetic exclusives to the Battle Pass, which celebrate the theme of the season and look similar across all classes." So it is good to know. I will say that it is pretty much account-wide when it comes to your classes. So you go in, you buy whatever you want in terms of cosmetics, and you know, hey, I can use that on all of the rogues that I've created within my account, which is cool. It's just that it is going to be class-specific. But yeah, it is noteworthy that you can share that between like all your rogues, for example. Now, here is one of the concerns from the community as well. I've seen this voiced out on Reddit and so forth. It says, "Any chance of WSD movement support for keyboards on PC?" Sound off what you think about this. There are people that I've noticed that are like, hey, yo, I've got carpal tunnel syndrome. I can't use the mouse as much. I need help here, Blizzard. Please do something about this. And the response is not at launch. So yeah, there it is again, that not at launch answer. I wish there was more to this, of course, but that is telling us that yes, they are considering this, and honestly, I would expect some sort of WASD support. For those of you that really struggle using the mouse for reasons, it is a thing. Furthermore, we have this one right here. I know it's been said the next update is beta/in-game related info, but is there going to be an update that goes into detail on the Battle Pass/MTX and season date info? Great question. And Adam Fletcher did respond saying, yeah, we plan talking about it more in depth. So I'm thinking that's going to be talked about perhaps in the upcoming post-beta live stream video that they plan to release here sometime in April. They said it would be April, but I still think it's going to probably be mid-April or late April. Then we have this one right here. It says Diablo 4 being rushed out unfinished. It's a clip from Osmongold where he's reacting to Stoops, and this guy, he says that he's heard from a little birdie that yes, the dev team feels like they need more time before they release this game, that they feel like they're kind of rushing it out. Now, that is, of course, hearsay and would be considered a rumor, but also you got to consider what happened with the balancing with Diablo 4 and the beta. I think a lot of people were shocked with how unbalanced a lot of the classes were. Now, of course, officially, the dev team said, hey, we're working on it. We're going to have a blog post about that one. But it got me curious, and I did some homework, and I found this article right here. Blizzard Entertainment reportedly forced to crunch to meet Diablo 4 release date. There's only 6 months to go before Diablo 4's all but confirmed June release date. Of course, this was posted in early 2023. Now let's get into it and find out what has happened with the history of the development of Diablo, which to me explains a lot. It goes on to say this right here. It says, according to a report by the Washington Post, the Diablo 4 team is currently being forced to crunch with insufficient compensation just so the studio can meet the rumored June 5th release date of Diablo 4. The report details that employees aren't explicitly required to work overtime, but they are incentivized to do so. The said incentives include everything from DoorDash credits to company shares once Diablo 4 is out. However, the report adds that this hasn't been enough to prevent tenured employees from resigning. Yikes, you don't want to be losing what I would consider to be veterans that would be very knowledgeable of what is going on with, of course, let's say, class balance with Diablo 4. Furthermore, it goes on to say this. The report reveals that a 20-person team lost half of its members in a year, and that some employees were told to look for another company after asking for a raise. Furthermore, the report details that Blizzard later replaced the experienced employees with entry-level hires. As a result, there's a lot of doubt whether Diablo 4 will not be delayed again. We haven't heard any suggestions officially that the game would be delayed beyond June, but we'll see how overwhelmed they are by the reports from the beta, by the feedback from the community. But yeah, I am very curious to see where this story goes. But also, on the flip side, you have to remember that Activision, they're thinking ahead. They're thinking into December, into the holidays. And what's going to be rolling around during that time is the big game of this year, Starfield. I know for a fact they want to get ahead of that, and they are pushing their team most likely to get the work done. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video, so let's do this. My most recent video was this one right here. It says Diablo 4, it's confirmed, dev team's official response, big features found, all new updates. Check it out on the channel if you did miss it. So let's get into the first response, shall we? Mark Ursley says this, honestly, the one thing I really want them to add is more chat window options. As a former WoW player, being able to move it, resize it, change font size, and even make new tabs with only specific things in it, like let me make a new tab that only has a clan chat and whispers in it, so I don't need to look in different tab to filter it down. So to me, based on the replies about what they're doing with clans, it sounds like a lot of the systems would be expanding post-launch. They're even considering things like raids for clans. So I think chat would be one of the things that they would hopefully expand upon. But again, they're also viewing this as like, this isn't an MMO right now. We don't want to make it seem like it's MMO, but I think they're going to, secretly implement stuff from WoW for you all. Now, Carter goes on to say this right here. As someone who works and would like to put some serious time into this game, the 4 days early access and allowing me to play all weekend is absolutely worth it. The beta was a lot of fun, and I never encountered any game-breaking bugs, so being able to get in and grind will be great. Yeah, I saw this response a lot in my comments, and it's great to have that option. I just think that should be the standard, but that's just me. Seems like people are willing to pay for it, and if that's the case, you know, these companies will always offer this. In fact, I think we're going to see more and more of this intensify as time goes along. Now, Alan Wang says this right here. In terms of beta testing, the Diablo 4 beta was fantastic. I remember when betas give you like 5 to 15 minutes of gameplay, and that was the norm. I remember getting demo discs in the mail, like physical demo discs, and then desperately wanting the game, you know, and not having the money and just playing the demo disc over and over again. That's what me and my twin bro did, and those were the days, let me tell you what. But yes, you're absolutely right. Betas have expanded so much. It was pretty incredible with the width and breadth of content that was actually available during this beta. It kind of blew me away. I was like, this is like an entire experience. What is going on here? But yeah, which is telling at how big the actual game will be. So that bit does get me a little bit excited. Just a little bit. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Diablo 4 news and updates and open world gaming goodness. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.